So you're thinking of moving to New Orleans, Louisiana, or the surrounding areas, well, you've come to the right place. Today we're going to talk about the French Quarter, pros and cons. All right, so I love the French Quarter. I love New Orleans, love to go there, love to hang out, have so much fun. And my anticipation for today was actually to go and film this video for you. But about a week ago, I had somewhat of my final straw with another situation with crime in the French Quarter and what I thought was one of the safer areas. Sorry, I keep touching the table and like making the camera move, but in one of the safer areas. And I'm like, oh, so frustrated about it. And I'm like, dang it, I need to take a break from going down there a little bit. And it sucks because this is what the channel's about, right? So it's kind of sad, but I'm really hopeful that things are gonna change and things can get better. And that's why I'm gonna continue shooting these videos. And that's why instead of taking you around the French Quarter today, I just did a bunch of research and I have a bunch of notes that I'll be referencing versus kind of just taking things off the cuff, if you will. So like I said, today we're talking about the French Quarter, pros and cons. And if you're looking to buy real estate in the next 9 days or 90 days, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email so I can help you with your smooth move to New Orleans or the surrounding areas. Now, when it comes to living in the French Quarter, it really means a lot of excitement and a lot of really fun things to do. There are year-round festivals, including but not limited to the French Quarter Fest. I love that one. One of my most favorite ones is the Red Dress Run. That's where men and women, all different, walks of life, wear a red dress and run through the city. So much fun. It's so vibrant. There's like so many fun outfits and costumes. That's just really, really entertaining and a really, really good time. And many other festivals besides even that. So you'll never have a dull moment. Of course, everybody knows about Mardi Gras. We know about Carnival season. That's kind of like a given. And that's another really fun time too. There's even like the Mardi Gras balls, which is really, really neat with live concerts where the parade actually goes through inside of a building, which is also really, really cool as well. So it's a high energy location. There's tons of unique vendors, street performers, nightclubs, excellent restaurants, like lots of excellent restaurants and lots of entertainment and lots of really yummy drinks and lots of really yummy food as well. There's just always something to do. It doesn't matter the day, the time, the week, like there's always something entertaining to do. You will absolutely never be bored whatsoever. Now, on the flip side, when it comes to the cons, it's constant bustling around, like it's a super high vibe, busy area. So it's not like a quiet little sleepy town. You're gonna be seeing a lot of tourists around all the time. So that could be viewed as negative. I think it's a great thing because I like the high energy, but I totally get that that could be viewed as a negative sometimes. And even though most of the French Quarter is actually residential, which might be surprising, there's still like a large amount of neon lights, neon signage, loud music, loud people, things like that. And that of course could be negative. I mean, you got the buggy drivers, like that could be kind of inconvenient, if they're in your way or whatever. People are always walking the streets in the French Quarter. So like I said, it's just never really quiet, if you will. It's a never sleep kind of town. So it's really, really the opposite of a sleepy town. So let's go back to another pro. Spectacular, and I mean spectacular architecture. There are so many amazing and unique buildings that are so beautiful. Yes, some of them really need to be cleaned up and they'll be even more beautiful. But there's there's iron balconies. There's the beautifulness of the St. Louis Cathedral and many other churches in the area as well. There's nothing cookie cutter about the homes in the French Quarter, and they're so beautiful. And gosh, if you've got something, with a second story, which most things do, got wonderful views of the streets and the people and the hustle and bustle as well. It's just really, really pretty. So to me, that is a really wonderful thing. Another pro would be rich in culture and history. There are endless opportunities to learn about the French Quarter and the history. And there's even this new Van Gogh exhibit, which I cannot wait to go down there and check out. And of course, I'll film it for all of you so that you can check it out as well. I've been hearing such amazing things about that. It's really, really just a great and unique experience to live and or visit in the French Quarter. Another negative would be the infrastructure could definitely use some help. I don't even know that you could say pothole. Like, I think you need to say, like, gosh, I don't even know, like, what's a big gigantic hole? I'm sure there's a name and it's like, I'm drawing a blank on it, but to me a pothole is like this. And what's going on in the streets of the French Quarter is more like this. If you can even see me, I'm probably out of the screen with that, but you kind of get the point. So that could help. There are bumps and cracks in the road, there's crumbling. There's some areas that need to be cleaned up that don't smell great. Not all, it doesn't stink everywhere, but there are some areas you're like, oh, that smells terrible, right? And like I said, even though the architecture is something really beautiful and that I love about it, it would be 100 times better if it was cleaned up and it was cleaner and it was a cleaner facade, if you will. Another cool pro that a lot of people don't realize, especially the out-of-towners, you can actually drink in public almost everywhere. And yes, as long as it's not glass, you can leave the restaurant with your drink, you can get a drink and go walk all along the streets and drink your alcoholic beverage as you hang out and walk around. And that's super unique. Not only that, the bars tend to stay open a lot later, like a lot later than most bars in most other cities. It's kind of like a city that never sleeps, if you will. So if you're looking to party all night, you will not be disappointed in the French Quarter for sure. People really find that a lot of fun. Like, one of the fun things you can do is like a scavenger hunt, which I love because I think those are so fun. And another thing that you can do is a bar crawl, where you literally get a drink, go to the next one, get a drink, go to the next one, walk around. And being able to do that and kind of walk with your alcoholic beverages while you're partying, it really makes the city more comfortable, if you will. But at the same time, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video with the crime, you've got to be aware, and you don't really want to be totally drunk off your butt to where you don't know your surroundings and you're not being careful to protect yourself. Creole cuisine is literally everywhere in the French Quarter. And when I say the food is incredible, it's absolutely incredible. Whether you want something sweet like donuts or beignets, or whether you want the typical red beans and rice, or some type of shrimp or crawfish etouffee, those are really, really cool as well. I mean, you've got the jambalaya, you've got seafood galore, you've got fried po' boys, fried frog legs, like fried things that are covered in like white sauces and gravy for days. And people love that when they come to visit New Orleans and the surrounding areas such as the French Quarter. Now, a negative would be that there's little to no space between properties. Even though it might not be living in an apartment, it's almost like you're living in an apartment, because literally like your neighbor's window is like right here. So sometimes it's not always the most privacy, if you will. So that could possibly be viewed as a negative with them being so close. I mean, that's a common complaint of residents, to feel like kind of overcrowded, if you will. Another wonderful thing, which is also why we got distracted from filming for a few minutes, because there are so many nice people and they all want to talk and they all want to chat. Of New Orleans, which is all lots of friendly, and the surrounding areas, the French Quarter is one of the most friendliest places for sure. If you need anything, everyone is so happy to help. You've got the nicest of neighbors, the nicest of friends. Whether you're a tourist or a resident, and you walk down the street, you know, everybody wants to chat and say hi and has a smile on their face. And that's really, really wonderful, because you don't get that everywhere you go. And that's one of the things that I love about this area. Another good positive, especially if it's in my opinion, is crawfish boils. It is fun time for friends and for family, for gathering. One of my favorite things with crawfish boils is actually to put Brussels sprouts in the boil. That is my ultimate favorite. And one thing that I just heard about this week that I have not tried, but someone actually said put oysters in the boil, like in the, you know, in the shell and everything, for like a few minutes. So that's a whole new thing I'm gonna have to try, and I guess I'll report back, but that's another unique food. And then when you have leftover crawfish, my favorite thing to do and I'm not a cook, but I can make this one recipe really, really good, is we pick all the leftover crawfish and make crawfish Monica, but instead of putting it over pasta, I actually buy the 5-cheese Texas toast in the freezer and cook that in the oven and then scoop the crawfish Monica on top of it. Oh my gosh, you can eat on that for days. So crawfish boil can really last and linger for several days of food for you. So that's another really big positive. Of course, one of the negatives is you're probably not gonna have a garage if you live down here, and you're probably not gonna have even a parking space. And lately with all the crime, I mean, there's just a lot of people whose cars are getting broken into, and that is hugely disappointing, of course. So I'm very hopeful, and I hope you are as well. They're gonna be cleaning up the crime and things will be safer, because I'm like ready to go down there for my next trip, and hating that I couldn't film this down there for you today. But that's just kind of how I'm feeling. And there's still lots of people down there, and there's still, you know, more people going down there and having a great time than are getting hurt, of course, you know. But I just really want to shout out to Mayor Cantrell and say you can do a lot better than what you're doing. So you might want to clean it up a little bit so we can get back down there and feel safe. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Remember, if you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email so I can help you with your purchase of real estate in New Orleans or the surrounding areas. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, share this with a friend, and I look forward to seeing you around town.